everybody, my name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to start my prep work for my Cultivate What Matters Powersheets goal planner for the year 2023. And what I want to say before I start this video is I've broken down the prep work into 4 separate videos. So I was kind of thinking like maybe I could get by with 2, and technically I could, but I don't want the videos to be super long. So it is going to be a 4-part series. The videos will not be consecutive, so I'm going to have other videos in between. So if you want to know when I post those videos, be sure to click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post, and then you will see those videos pop up. I will label them like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when I go in to do my actual like January setup, you'll see that as well. So this is the cover I have. It is the Bluebird, I believe. And the reason why I have my journal here beside me is because I started preparing for my 2023 goals like probably a couple months ago already. So I have a whole bunch of ideas in my journal, and I wanted to just have it beside me as a reference while I go through the first part of this prep work. I do have some highlighters beside me. These are the Zebra mild liners, the actual highlighters, and a couple of the brush pens. And then I'm also using my Pentel Energel pen because that's one of my favorite pens. And other than that, I think that's it, and we can get started. So I might talk a little bit about things. I might fast forward that, and then we'll talk about that after the fact. If I write through it while I'm talking, you'll just hear a bunch of silence. So I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. I will not be adding wildcards in this session. I do have 2 separate wildcard holders. So if you got these as well, all they are these like plastic dividers with wildcard here. And you pretty much have to either glue, tape, or washi tape the wildcards into your planner and just stick it on. It would have been nice if it was like an actual, like, something you could slide it in or slide it from in on the top. That would have been kind of cool, but it is what it is. And I have these now. This is the first year I bought these, but I am happy I did because now I can kind of see them sticking out. And you'll also see I've labeled all of the different prep work sessions. So green means start and blue is end. So when I get to the blue part, that is where we're ending things. I probably stopped it a little soon on this one, but because it's going to take a little while to write out all of my ideas and we can kind of talk about it and kind of go through at the same time, I just wanted to kind of ease into it. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. But the very first step, and this is important, you guys. I mean, it doesn't sound important, it doesn't look too important, but it is, because these are your goals. This is your life. You need to put your name. Okay, so I'm just going to put my first name. There. I tried to hand letter my name. So yeah, this is hello to a fresh start 2023. So let's dig in, guys. Okay, so the first page, now it tells you what's included. It says uncover what matters, break it down, and then live it out. This is pretty much like a title page. It's kind of, you can read through it. It's not epic, but it might be if this is your first time with the Powersheets. Okay, so the very first page that we actually start writing on is page 5. It says brainstorm your year ahead. Okay, so you dig in. What do you want to cultivate in the year ahead? Write your goal ideas for 2023 here. No perfect handwriting is needed. Dig in and dream big. Or dig in and dream. Now I'm making up words as I go. So I'm going to write down all of my ideas, and hopefully I'll be able to fit them all on one page. So here we go.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you
All right, guys. So basically, this is a lot. Okay. I didn't have enough room. I feel like this is kind of like wasted space up here. Kind of wish that they had just given like an extra sheet for brainstorming, because I know that they say the less the better. Like you can only focus on so many things. So probably somebody else doing this might not have as many ideas as me. But I took up 2 spots in my journal, like two whole pages. To fill all of this out. And this is like a huge mess. You probably can't even read it, like compared to some of my writing. So I'll quickly talk about it, okay? And this will just be pretty brief. So some of my plans for holidays, Go Wild is one of them, but I don't really have anybody to go with. I don't have any like close friends who like to plan. I have made some friendships within the planner community, but it's not really like um, I'm going to meet up with them and like we're going to go somewhere together. So I would love to Go Wild. It might not be this year. It's tentatively written down. So I mean, you can't actually accomplish a goal if you don't write it down, in my mind, because you just don't think about it. You don't think about it every day, and it needs to be forefront and center in order to accomplish. So I wrote it down anyway, just in case. Technically, I'd have the money to go. I just kind of scared to go by myself. I've never been before. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I do have save on there, plan ahead, and maybe go with a friend. For other holiday plans, I have set up a sinking fund for vacation. All of my sinking funds, I tentatively put finance on here, even though I have my goals. They will be coming up in my budget planner video. So you guys will see that too. If you are interested, again, make sure you click that bell notification. But I do tentatively put my financial stuff in here because it's something I still check in with every month and every week. So have my sinking funds for vacation set up. I think I've got like $200 or $300 saved up for that already. I want to talk to my family to see what they want to do. But the 2 ideas I had, probably not camping this year because we're going to have a little baby, and I just can't see myself doing that whole camping thing with a tent. We don't have a trailer or anything, and I don't have a truck to haul a trailer. Even if we could rent one, we'd have to rent a motorhome. We will not be going to my family reunion this year because it's biannual, so it's every 2 years. We don't have one. So I was thinking we could stay in West Edmonton Mall, just me and my husband. That would be like a private kind of getaway type thing, just him and me, or maybe go and take the kids. I don't know, maybe, but we'd have a baby as well, so it might be a little bit more difficult. But then maybe spend the day. If we did take the kids, we could spend the day doing fun things. We could, go shopping. We could eat out at the restaurant one night. If it was only one night, we could go to the kind of indoor aquarium, maybe the amusement park, maybe even like the water park. Like that would be fun. I think my kids would enjoy that. And then the second idea was going to Banff, staying in a hotel, and maybe go for like 3 days and 3 nights. Stay in a hotel with a swimming pool, and then do the hiking and stuff that's there. Do the touristy stuff that you can walk around the streets. It's usually crazy busy. If we go in like July or August, it's usually also super hot during the day. But if we're staying in a hotel, we can just easily go back to our nice air conditioned room and then go for a swim, right? So I would love to do that. And I think that's going to be one of our main things. And I think just doing those 2 things will be fun because both of them are fairly close. Banff is about 4 hours away from here. It takes 3 hours to get to Calgary from here and then another hour to get to Banff. But it's beautiful. And like my son saw the mountains when he was probably 3, but it's been a long time. Maybe he was 4. It's been a long time. And by then he'll be 9. My daughter will be 3. And then the baby will be here. So I think it would be a nice family excursion to do something like that. Okay, so that's kind of like holiday stuff. The year after, I might think of maybe actually doing like a trip to Mexico or somewhere. So where should we start next? Business stuff. So I've just revised my numbers here. Numbers don't really mean anything much. It's just I kind of evaluate where I am at the end of the year and then kind of go from there. So I've done that for my IG, for YouTube, and for Medium. Most important thing for IG for me is consistency and potentially showing my face, doing those fun type of reels that everyone seems to love. I just have to get more comfortable with it. And then on YouTube, maybe thinking about revising my schedule, see what works once the baby comes, because January might be a whole new ball game. I don't really know how that's going to look. And also thinking about adding some kind of like maybe like a monthly favorites video in there somewhere. So kind of talk about the products I've been loving. It doesn't have to be like planning supplies. It could be, facial products. It could be makeup. It could be something I love to eat, like anything really. So that might be a good one. Something that I can actually show my face, because you guys really get to see my face on this channel, and I wouldn't mind doing more videos like that. And then Medium, I'm writing my blog consistently every week. Right now I'm caught up to like the beginning of March, I think. So I'm really caught up by the time I'm done before December 20th, because December 20th I will not be making any more videos except my planner and my budget videos, which are real time. I'm going to probably be up to April. I think I'll have blogs written for April, so I can take a nice break from that and just relax and not have to write for a while. Okay, so then also adding to the mix, and this is tentative, something I've had in my mind for a while, but I just don't know. It would be a lot more work because I've already got my pretty busy schedule. And this could be weekly or monthly, but most likely monthly. But I would have to have my schedule. I would have to know ahead of what I'm doing. So that would be my business monthly newsletter. So I would include things like sticker updates, Etsy shop updates. If I decide to keep it open, I might kind of thinking about closing my Etsy shop, weekly blog link, videos that I've posted, like current videos, and then a calendar. So like all of the videos I would be posting that month, kind of talking about what's going on and when you can expect those videos. So anyone who subscribes to my site would get that newsletter. And then I still have a Patreon account up and running, and it's pointless. I've changed it 2 times. So the first time I opened it, I had different things. I had like coloring sheets on there, and like not subscriptions so much, but just like fun things. And then I changed it to a sticker subscription, but I'm going to cancel that because honestly, it's like I don't have anybody at all. And it's not, I think it's more of a thing in the States than it is here in Canada. So because I've had no traction on that whatsoever, I'm just going to shut it down. And I think I might have already shut it down. I have to double check. Okay, so let's go to finance. So emergency fund. I do have one started, but I want to grow it. I'm not sure if I wrote down a specific number, but you guys will see that in my budget book. Fill out 2023 budget book and the beginning of the year sheets. So that video will be coming soon as well. But my big thing here is actually having part of a money routine and filling out those sheets weekly. So there's a few sheets in the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom, Kimiko Love. There's a few sheets that you can like reflect back on every week or every month and fill it out. And so far I haven't been, so I want to start doing that. Maintain them throughout the weeks, have my sinking funds, which I already have. My main goal is to improve my credit score and my husband's credit score throughout the year. Try to have no credit card balances, less spending, maybe have a no spend challenge or no spend month. Also, I'm going to have savings challenges. I didn't write that on here, but I should. Savings challenges. It's so messy. Sorry, guys. And then also I have to think about tax prep. So I'm going to be doing my business taxes separate this time because I kind of put everything together because I'm an individual sole proprietorship. So basically my taxes are my personal taxes, even though they're business related. So, but this time I don't want to tie it in with my husband. I just want to do it like single as myself, which it's still me, just me. So I'll do mine single. Obviously like we're together, like I'll do them like as we're together, but do them separate because you're allowed to do either or. You can either do taxes as a family unit or you can do them separate, but you're still together. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you guys have done taxes, you might know what I'm talking about. And I've always done my own taxes. I do use online tax preparation software now. I never used to. I always used to write it out by hand, but I know my taxes in and out. And I usually just do my own research on it. I never talk to H&R Block. I don't talk to an accountant. Maybe if my business was to get a bit more, if it was to be a bit bigger, I guess, maybe it would be something I'd send to an accountant. But for now, I trust my own judgment. I trust myself. And that's where I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so then let's go to baby and kids. So obviously I'm going to have a newborn come January. So this is going to be a big one. So my biggest thing is to kind of maintain a schedule. I guess this will pop into routines. Maintain a schedule with housework. So I've got a plan for that when I do my Franklin setup. I've got like a chore schedule and figure out what I can do daily just to keep the house tidy and like livable. and then get enough sleep because that's very important, and have my 10-minute tidy, which I do now, but maybe increase it to 3 times a day. I tentatively do that, but it depends how things are going to go with the newborn and my 2-year-old. Okay, so for home, I do have a lot of projects for home on here, and I don't know when we're going to get the time to do this, but here it goes. So first of all, part of our sinking fund finance thing is saving for a Dyson. We do have a vacuum. It's a Kenmore. It's amazing. My friend gave it to me like forever years ago, and it works amazing still, but the hose actually broke off probably about 4 years ago, and it's crazy glued on, but it's not going to last forever. And the filters hadn't been changed regularly, so it's not in the best capacity, I guess. Like, we're going to need to get a new vacuum. And Dysons are expensive, and we'll probably get an extended warranty. So we're saving for that. We're going to save for gutters because we need to get that done. And we have partly finished our upstairs flooring, but we need to finish our bedroom and the stairs. So that's a big project that we were going to try to finish. Paint our bedroom and the hallway. We have to finish that. Potentially paint our fence outside. Reinforce one side of the fence because it's falling down. And I'm not going to replace the fence before we move out of this place because it would be a costly expense that we just can't afford right now. Do our yearly garage clean. We did one last year before our garage sale. And so this year it won't be as hard because we got rid of all the garbage. I just want to basically organize the toys, throw out any broken toys, that kind of thing. And then also organize my filing cabinet. So I do this every January. It's obviously very important to like clean out your previous year's files. So everything that I need to keep will stay in there, obviously. And then I take everything else, even bills. Like sometimes I'll throw them in the garbage if they're not necessary to keep, but I like to have them as reference just in case something ever comes back on us. So I'll keep important receipts. I'll keep some bills, depending on the company, especially cell phone bill companies, like in case you change cell phone companies and you want to reference information going back, like previous account numbers. Sometimes I keep that information. So I've actually thrown out stuff in the past and then realized I might need it. So I've learned my lesson from that and I've kept it, and I keep it for 7 years in my basement. Okay. Health. So thinking about changing my diet, I thought I had a gallstone issue earlier this year, but it ended up being an inflamed stomach lining. And basically it was from drinking too many energy drinks and like Coke and stuff like that. And so I gave that up and drinking water and milk and tea. I can't stop coffee. I have a coffee every morning. But getting lots of water, especially when I'm breastfeeding, lots of sleep, trying to, and then maybe talking about counting my steps. I was thinking about getting an Apple Watch, but for me, I hate wearing watches. I think it makes my wrist look bulky. So I don't think I'd buy an Apple Watch. I think it's a waste of money. But that being said, maybe thinking about holding my phone on me because I know my phone counts my steps. I don't know. I'm not really a huge walker. Our neighborhood isn't safe to really walk outside. I know it sounds bad, but I wouldn't trust my 2-year-old and a baby outside just with myself. If I was with my husband, it might be a different story. And just maybe spending more time in the backyard, getting some fresh air every day is a good one. Okay, so we talked about finance. So reading. So I put a 100-book challenge on here, but I'm not sure how I'll be able to accomplish that given my busy work schedule. If I change my work schedule, it might be possible. But for now, I put 20 fiction books and 15 nonfiction books, and then just work that into a routine, which I already kind of have done. I do about 20 to 30 minutes of reading a day. And my problem with that is I really like fiction books. And I usually have a snack with my fiction books. And so once my fiction book is done, usually what I do, this is kind of weird, but like every month I have like 3 or 4 books for my goals to accomplish, to read that many books in 1 month. So if I do 3 every month, guaranteed, I would read 36 in 1 month, which would take me to about my 35 reading goal, right? So I try to do a minimum of 3, but I always put 4 because I know I'll never actually, like I always put more just in case, and because I want to like aim higher. But I usually just do 3. So my problem is I'll do a spiritual book, a fiction book, and a nonfiction book. And usually my nonfiction book is way more dry than my fiction book. So I'll finish my fiction book first, and then I'll order a new one, or I'll read one that I already have. And then the spiritual book and the nonfiction book get neglected and they don't get read until the month after. And so I'm really trying not to do that, but I can't help it. I love fiction. It's kind of like my escape. I don't watch hardly any TV at all. So it's like my escape and kind of getting away from everyday life and the mundane humdrum of busy work night, like life that is being an online business entrepreneur. So that's what I do there. And routines. So just kind of like figuring out if I want to change my morning and evening routine, doing a skincare routine, waking up and going to bed at the same time every day. That one's a very hard one for me because ideally, Monday to Friday, when my son goes to school, I love to wake up at 5. It gives me time alone. It gives me focus time. I can get lots of work done between 5 and 7:30. And then sometimes I will do work during the evening, like I'm doing now. My daughter goes to bed, and my son will usually stay pretty quiet. And that's my only time to work because now my daughter no longer naps, and I will have a newborn. So I really have to schedule myself accordingly and try to work whenever my daughter is not being loud or, whenever she doesn't require attention, which she's 2. She needs attention all the time. So that's something I have to work on and figure out what's going to work best, especially when the baby comes. So it's not something I can pre-plan. I think I have to wait. And again, that routine will change depending on how old my baby is too. So like when they're newborn, as soon as they wake up, they need to be fed and diaper changed. And that every time you get a distraction, like say you're in focus time and you're working, as soon as you get distracted, you have to put whatever it is down and you have to go help the baby. So kind of same thing with my 2-year-old. She doesn't understand just 1 second, give mommy a minute. I need to finish this. She doesn't understand that. I have to go and help her now. So that has been a constant challenge. So anyone else out there who has the same problem, let me know. Say it in the comments. I know I'm not alone. So this one, I don't know if this is I put it by itself because I didn't really know where to fit it in at, but I basically put future board. So I'm reading a book right now called Future Boards, and it's by Sarah Centrella. I actually started it when I was at my doctor's appointment, my OBGYN one, the last one. And the problem with it is that I had to corner my books because there's actually homework. So you actually have to do some journaling and stuff. And I didn't have a notebook while I could do that. So I have to work on that now. And I do have a future board that I made the beginning of 2022. So I have it up. It's basically just a whole bunch of pictures that I was trying to envision for this year. And honestly, most of them, it didn't really happen. It's just pictures on my board. I have a group for family and a group for spiritual and a group for business and stuff. And while I have succeeded in my business, I've progressed a lot and I've progressed in my goals. The future board hasn't really worked for me. I didn't get to read that book. I had the book before I started and I never actually read it. So now that I'm reading it, I'm going to do all the homework and then just kind of go from there. And then once January or February hits, I'll be able to make a new future board and then see where I go from there. So I wrote it down, and then it also will kind of come in with my goals and values under my Franklin planner, which I have also to do this month. And there's a lot up here. So I want to make realistic goals and just update my pictures and stuff. Okay, so because I ran out of room on here, I had to start a note here. And sorry, my daughter woke up. What time is it? It is 9:13, and I put her to bed an hour ago, but she just woke up. So I'm going to try to be quiet here. Okay, so journaling. So again, this is more of added to my routines. I want to try journaling every day, which I do already, but I want to also journal in the evening. So right now I'm not giving myself the time. Again, I might be overzealous. I don't know, when I have a newborn, because I just don't know what that's going to look like, right? Things are going to change drastically when I have a third child here. But it's a way for me to relax in the evening. So I usually have a cup of sleepy time tea with it. I light a candle and I just sit and relax and I talk about my day. And then what happens if I do journaling 2 times a day, the morning journaling routine isn't so long. So in the morning, what I'll do is write out my plans for the day. I'll write out what happened the day before. But if I do it 2 times, I can write out my plans for the day. And then at nighttime, I can kind of say what happened during the day. So pretty much the morning is my intentions, and then evening is more reflection. Okay, and then I also journal in my kids' journals. I have 2 journals, one for each of my kids. I journal once a week, every Monday, and just kind of update to their lives that they might not remember when they're older. I also do Oracle Tarot on that same day. It's on a Monday. And then for my art, I want to start doing my projects again. It might be overzealous because I'm going to be increasing all of these things. I'm like aiming for such high standards and like all of these things to add to my routines when I already don't do them, and having a third child. So I don't know if this is going to be something I'll be able to do, but I have lots of other hobbies besides like my journaling and my planning. I love to draw pictures with I put pencil crayon, but it's actually colored pencil. And I do these amazing colored pencil drawings, and I haven't done one in years. And I really miss it because it's very therapeutic for me to like draw it out. And also painting. I love acrylic, and I paint with acrylic. I've got tons of products downstairs in my basement that I just don't use because I don't have the time. So I would love to get back into that, make the time for that, and then also maybe get back into cross stitch or knitting. Knitting is pretty much like I can pay attention to other stuff while I'm knitting, but cross stitch is very detailed work, so I have to be careful with that. And the last thing here is family. So try to do swimming. So once the baby comes, it'll be easier for me to go swimming again. I do have that as a weekly thing now, but since I've been pregnant, I haven't been able to. So I want to do swimming in the new year, date night when my husband is home. I'm going to Red Deer to visit my son's grandpa more often because we've been going we used to go once a month, and now we haven't been going at all because my husband's work schedule. Family FaceTime, so maybe talking to my husband's family more often, talking to my son's grandpa in Red Deer. We haven't seen his Baba in a long time, and she had a health scare this year, so it'd be nice to see her. And actually have family meetings. I'm just talking with my kids, my husband, also friend family weekly check-in. So it's something I started. I'm kind of talking with my best friend and then talking with all of my family members. Not really all of them. That doesn't really happen every week, but it doesn't matter. I could pick one family member and have a conversation with them. And I think that would help me. That's my list, which is crazy. I know I talked about forever. So I spent almost 40 minutes on just one page, you guys. So we're going to go through this. I only have a few more pages left, and this part won't take too long. So this part here says, distractions wither with clarity. So it's basically saying break free from distractions. The first thing it talks about is, where does comparison sneak into your life? So honestly, I think we all compare kind of like what life stage we're at and like what we're accomplishing in our lives. And you don't mean to, but like sometimes those sneaky thoughts kind of like break into your head. So honestly, I don't compare my faith life because I don't have a faith per se, like I'm spiritual, but I haven't really been focusing on that, and I don't compare myself to anyone when it comes to that. Possessions, relationships, work, my own expectations, maybe a little bit. Like this is hard. Like I think every one of us could probably check off every single one of these boxes at some point in our life. There's always going to be somebody who knows more than you, right? And there's always going to be people who don't know as much as you in your field or your area of expertise. So like, I almost feel like this question is I feel like it's not even valid because honestly, like, I guess I've learned, like, at this stage of my life, I've learned that it doesn't really matter what anybody else is doing. Like, who cares, right? Like, you might be paying attention to your family, you might be happy for them, or you might be jealous of what they're doing or whatever. But like, the only person it comes down to is like comparing yourself to who you want to be or who you were yesterday. And that's kind of where I've landed at. Like, I'm more about self-growth and like personal growth and not really caring about anybody else anymore. I used to, like we all did. I used to care a lot back in high school, and like even in my 20s I was always like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, my friend has this, my friend has that, I don't. And now I honestly don't care. I'm at where I'm supposed to be at, and they're at where they're supposed to be at. So I think in comparison, like to myself, I wish that I had like a better house. So I don't like compare with anybody, but I do wish that I had something better than we have now. Right now we're in a duplex, and it's really hard. The thing I'm struggling with right now is that we have neighbors, like the people who own the place next to us, they rent it out. And so we've never had anybody consistent live in that place for over a year or two. They're always moving out. And so I get really anxious actually when we have new people move in, because you don't know what to expect. You don't know how much noise they're going to make. And then they move out right away. And it's like, well, why are they moving out? Is there an issue with the house? They're attached to us, like that kind of devalues our own property. And so that's always been an issue on my mind. And I would love to have my own separate house, our own yard, fenced in, that we don't have to be bothered by anybody and hear other people's noise and smell their cooking. And just like, I don't know, like it really bothers me. And plus our house is super old, like super, super old. We had to get our shingles replaced. We had like a terrible leak in our roof. Our bedroom has like a huge stain on the ceiling. So it's just, we need a new house. And so I think that's like the only thing I kind of compare or talk about. But finances, the thing that bugs me about that is that you can compare. Other people will always, like, because I can go on my merry way and not talk about anything or not care about anybody else. Not that I don't care about people, but like not care what they're doing or not like be bothered. Oh, well, they make more money than me. Like, oh, I'm so jealous. I could go on my merry way and just like be all happy and everything's awesome. But then someone will come along, like my mom or my sister, and be like, oh, I bought this, or so and so bought this. How does that make you feel? And I just don't really understand why they have to do that. It's almost like not even just my mom and my sister, but like other people. I'll be like, why do you care? Why are you telling me this? What's the point? It's almost like they want to get a rise out of me because because I have come so far and like I'm not the same person I used to be. I honestly don't care. But like then I start to wonder, why are they mentioning it to me? Like, do they care? And is it just like gossip or what? So I don't know. That bugs me. And also maybe still a little bit with my job title. So even though I'm a complete stay-at-home mom, I'm going to have a baby and a toddler at 2 years old. I am fully entitled to be able to stay home and just be a stay-at-home mom because trust me guys, I'm sure you can agree with me that that is a full-time job unto itself. But I also have a full-time business that I created myself. But there are still some people who they don't say anything, but I'm sure they think it. And maybe it's just in my head, but it's mostly family members who are like, yeah, you have an online business. You aren't successful. You don't make millions of dollars. You don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like you're nothing, you know? And so maybe that's me getting in my own head. So maybe it's my own expectations. I don't know. But I feel that attitude coming from some people and it bothers me because I feel as like a family group, whether it's your family or your husband's family or your partner's family, they should be supportive of you in all ways. And that's never the case, right? Ever the case. What's important to me is that I'm doing what I love. Like I don't care about the money right now. I'm staying at home anyway. So if I could make something out of it, it would be awesome. And if I'm just here tooting my own horn and having fun, well, I'm doing something I'm passionate about. And that's more than a lot of people can say. I think that's all I want to go with this because like I said, this question bugs me. And I think I've explained my reasoning enough, but maybe I read too much into it. I don't know. So now it says what distracts you, what's holding you back. Okay, it says what weighs you down, what's taking up your brain and heart space. Get it all out on this page and begin to leave it behind. Example, social media. It doesn't really hold me back. That's kind of my job. It's my business. To-do lists. I like having to-do lists. It makes me more productive. If I get everything done on my list, I feel exalted. I feel like amazing. I'm like, oh yes, I got my work done. I'm getting done what I have to get done. And thanks to my Cultivate What Matters Powersheets, I've learned to, well, and my Franklin planner, I guess, I've learned to do the most important things first. So when I know that I've got a deadline, that gets done first, right? So my to-do lists aren't just like this endless, like busy work. I'm actually doing important things to move my business and my family ahead, like getting ahead on finances, getting ahead on my business, actually talking with family members and like sending out happy birthday messages or presents and stuff like that, like actually showing that I care about people and that I know it's their birthday. That stuff is important to me and that's part of my core values and my just kind of who I am. So physical clutter, that is one thing that I've always been working on for the past year. So I'm going to put that because that's probably my containers in my basement. Yes, clutter. Let's see. Swedish death cleaning. I'm going to say containers and basement. And that's all right, but I'll explain that a little bit. So what I mean by this is I have a bazillion in one containers in my basement, the huge Rubbermaid ones, like they're the 38 gallon or the 38-liter containers, like the really tall ones. And they're filled with mementos and from my childhood. They're filled with old letters. They're filled with books. They're filled with stuffies I got when I was a kid. And part of that is because my dad died when I was 24. I was pretty young for my dad to pass away, and my parents got divorced. Like, it's a little bit personal here, but my parents got divorced, and then my mom and my stepdad got divorced. So I've had a lot of bad memories growing up. But when, like, I don't, this is hard to explain. I can only speak for myself, but I do feel like this is true for a lot of kids from divorce. So even if your like dad beat up your parent, your other parent, or vice versa, whatever the case is, kids always still seem to want their parents to get together if they're young. If you don't understand what's going on exactly, my parents hid a lot of the bad, evil stuff from me, so I wasn't sure what happened, and all I wanted was for my parents to get together. I wanted them to be together with me. I didn't want to have to go to someone's separate house, which I did. And a lot of the memories, so when I did have good memories, I clung to those physical mementos. And so I have a whole bunch. And then when my dad passed away, I had extra money. He had left me an inheritance, and I wasted a lot of that money on stuff because I was so depressed during that time. I dealt with it a lot on my own. My partner at that time was not there for me at all. I don't really think he knew how to be. And so I started going on this like spending splurge, and I buy silly things like trolls and My Little Ponies, and I don't think I bought Barbies, but I bought like purses and what else? Just random stuff that now I don't give two figs about. And so a lot of that stuff is downstairs in my basement. I've got My Little Ponies, not the new ones that are kind of weird, but like the original My Little Ponies from years ago. And I'm like, well, do I give them to my daughter? She's just going to destroy them. Or do I try to sell them and make money off of them? Then I'll never have them again. But the goal here is to declutter and to give myself my power back. Because right now, all of my power is with these material objects, and that is not healthy. Okay? I've come to those terms. I don't need a therapist to tell me that. But I can't get rid of those objects. I've been trying. I've been working on one container. Like my dad gave me these $200 pair of mucklucks when I was, I don't remember, 9 or 10. They don't fit me. I've never worn them. They don't have like the rubber sole on the bottom, so you can't wear them outside anyway. I could give them to my daughter, but then they're still in the house and she has them. And I don't want to leave any of this stuff to my kids because I don't think it's fair to put all of this stuff that they have no memory associated with. Why should I leave it to them? So I need to work through that, and I need to get rid of this stuff. I have boxes of painting supplies. I've got 4 boxes of dishcloth wool that I used to madly knit and crochet dishcloths for family members for Christmas presents. My mom was supposed to take that, and she hasn't because she has a very small apartment. She doesn't have the room. I've got like painting supplies. I've got cross-stitch supplies, like tons of craft supplies. I've got Easter stuff. I've already had a garage sale, and I've gotten rid, believe it or not, I've gotten rid of 75%. I actually went down there and counted my boxes. 75% of the stuff that I had in my garage sale. I got rid of it all. Proud of myself for that. The rest of the 25% still takes up over half my basement. So you can imagine how much I actually had. When we had our garage sale last year, guys, my neighbor said to me, "Are you guys moving? Because there's a whole household of stuff in here." We had duplicates of everything. We had a double washer dryer. We had a double table set. We were getting rid of our table, like everything. We had 2 households because when my husband moved in, I moved in. We each had our own stuff too, right? So that didn't help. But yeah, it's very, very difficult. And I need guidance here. Like, I can't have someone coming in who's like, "I don't care about this stuff at all. Let's throw it all out." I can't do that. But I do need help in the regard that I just can't let go. I'm still struggling with that. That's something I'm still working through. So that is a big one, like a huge one. Okay. Fears and worries. I'm always worried about money. Fear about not having enough money. Fear about my husband losing his job. He has a very physical job. He's a gas fitter, pipe fitter. So he works up north, makes super duper money, but we also have 3 kids and a house that is falling down around our heads. Our house, like I said, is very old and literally it's falling down around our heads. We have super duper huge repairs to make. We need to get our credit out of the gutter in order to be able to move, because I think the amount of money it would take to renovate would be exponential. It would continue to suck in money, and we just want to sell it. Whoever will buy these places might just tear them down and start fresh. I don't know, but that's kind of at the point that they're at. So fear of not having enough money, and that could come, like, if we still kind of live paycheck to paycheck, I do have sinking funds, but it's not enough to carry us through for 3 months. Definitely not. Emergency fund, I think I have $300. So I mean, we definitely wouldn't be able to survive for 3 months without an income. So that's something that I'm working towards. And schedule disruptions. New baby. New baby and toddler. Schedule already disrupted. Okay, so either I have to continue with that and be continually frustrated that my schedule is disrupted all the time, or I learn to change my habits. I get up at 5 even on a Saturday and Sunday, and I work from 5 to 8 on those days, and I get as much as I can done. That's also something that I could think about doing. We're going to move to the last page because, guys, seriously, I'm taking up so much time talking about this. I knew these videos would be crazy long. So now this one says, what are you willing to sacrifice for? So this is important because when I think I talked about this a while ago in one of my goals videos on my YouTube channel, or maybe in my blog, but when I look at all of these things here that I've written down, all of this stuff takes time. Yes, you have an entire year, but there will be sacrifices. If you do one of these things, something else may not get done. Okay, so like with my art project, for instance, if my business takes precedent over my art, which it usually does, I don't get to my art. I don't get to paint, or I don't get to draw. And I love doing those things. That has been a passion of mine since I was like 8 years old. And I've wanted to continue. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of years, and I've just been so busy doing all of this stuff that I don't have time for that anymore. I'm raising my kids, and yes, I can picture in 10 years, okay, this is where my kids will be at. My son will be, 18. He might be out of the house. My daughter will be out with her friends. My 10-year-old will be in his room playing with, some kind of game at that point in time. And what will I be doing? I will be here sitting by myself, probably feeling lonely, probably feeling sorry for myself. And at that point, I could pick up my art. But I don't want to wait 10 years, right? I don't want that to be me. So there are some things I'm going to give and some things that I'll have to take, I guess, like give and take situation scenario. So it's very difficult for me at this point in my life because I decided to have kids so late in life, not just decided to, but more of a situational thing, right? Like I met my husband at a later time, and then we waited. I'm 40 years old and I'm having my 3rd child. So I'm having a baby when I'm 40. And most people that I know in my circle, they've had all their kids in their early 20s. And so their kids are now like graduated high school. And here I am just starting my family. It's a huge difference. And I think if I had done it the other way around, things would be completely different for me. But then again, I might be stuck at my dead end Sobeys job, and I might not be doing what I'm doing right now and loving every minute of it. So yes, I'm not getting enough sleep. Yes, I'm tired a lot of the time. Yes, I struggle a lot of the time, but I'm also really passionate about what I do. Yes, I love what I do. I love my kids. I love my business. I love just being home with my family. So honestly, anything can happen. Anything goes. It's crazy how things work out that way. But the things that I'm willing to sacrifice for, so not so much faith, kind of my spirituality has been put on the back burner. I do certain things, like I still meditation has been one of my big things. I feel like I haven't made time for. Again, it's like either I do this or I do that. I've wanted to study tarot more to understand it better, but my kids' journals come before like studying tarot. I do tarot readings to try to learn more about what the cards mean, but I don't actually study. So there's like a huge difference there in that. Again, I'm probably not going to have time for. So my career is definitely something that I want to make time for because I'm so passionate about it and I'm loving it so much. My family is definitely something I'm passionate about. So is my health and like legacy and loved ones. So pretty much to me, health is kind of like your base, right? Like if you're not healthy, like I've been sick 2 or 3 times over the course of this past month. There was one time I was flat on my back. Like I had a 24-hour flu so bad I thought I was dying. And I couldn't take care of nobody. My husband was here, but I could barely take care of myself. I could barely get myself to the bathroom when I needed to like throw up. It was bad. And if I'm not healthy or if I have a cold and I can't even focus on work, my career doesn't get ahead. I can't work on it. My family and my loved ones don't see me because I'm getting sick or I'm in bed or whatever. So that comes first, but we do tend to neglect that the most. So I'm going to think about self-care. I'm going to think about making sure I get enough sleep, get enough water. Sleep is a big one for me because I don't ever get enough sleep. I get a lot of slack for not like me saying I don't have time to exercise. Well, exercising to me is kind of the same as meditating. Meditating is self-care. I don't have time to meditate or exercise. Like I'd love to be able to spend half an hour on a walk or a bike ride or something, but if I do that, then my dishes don't get done, or my laundry doesn't get done, my kids run out of clothes, or my dog poops on the floor and then there's dog poop on the floor and then my house isn't even sanitary. Or like I could think of a million things that won't get done if I go for a half-hour walk. Like, and it sounds like an excuse, but really it isn't. Like I am so busy with the things that I do in my life that I do make priority for, like my business wouldn't get ahead if I, decided to do something else for half an hour when I could be working on my writing skills for that half hour. So it really truly comes down, like if you want to be one of those workout people, you're spending like 3 or 4 hours in the gym right after you're done work. And that's what you do. You don't read, you don't get to journal, you don't get to go to movies with your friends and eat popcorn or go to dinner with your friends and eat bad food. You're at the gym all the time. And that's your lifestyle and that's what you like to do. But when you have small kids at home, life is completely different. It's so much different. You're just running around picking up all the toys all day just to try to maintain some like semblance of calm in your home. So it's crazy. But like really for me, loved ones, family, legacy is all the same. So to me, that's the same. And I'm willing to sacrifice for them. And really, when it comes down to it, my career is my legacy and it is for my kids. Because if I make money from that, if I'm happy, my kids will be happy too. If I'm miserable, like if I was here just looking after my kids and not doing anything, I don't think I could live with myself because I'm not doing anything for myself. Like, yes, one of my jobs is to raise good kids and to raise good individuals, but that's not my only job. That's not all I'm put on this earth to do. I want to make a success for myself. I don't want it to be just because I raised kids and I was successful at doing a good job. Most people hope for that, and that's great if it turns out that way, but you also want to be somebody. You want to do something important with your life and like have something that you care about. So when your kids leave home, you're not just sitting there lonely and bored and like wishing that you had something to do, that you still have like hobbies and passions and things that you care about. Again, I talked way too long. Last page that we'll work on for right now, it says, what do you love? To uncover your unique passions, those things you're willing to trade your time, resources, energy for. Start with the things you love to do or have in your life. Obviously, for me, that's spending time with family. I make time for like my close loved ones. I see my mom all the time. I call my friend. At least I try to do weekly. I spend time with my kids. We have movie dates. We go swimming. I try to have date night with my husband when he's home from work. And also reading, because reading really kind of expands your vocabulary. I feel it expands your vocabulary, kind of gets you lost, kind of gets you like distracted from the humdrum of everyday life. Also, I love to plan. I love being organized and setting up a planner. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, is like set up my monthly planner or like just plan every day. When I plan daily, it only takes like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, but that's probably one of my favorite things to do during the day, is my morning ritual of planning and drinking my coffee. I also love my art. So I really do want to start doing that. It's one of my main passions, but also working on my business, because I've incorporated things into my business that I love to do. I love to come up with creative ideas. I love writing. I love writing and I love getting my word out there. So that's what I do with my blogs. And it kind of like lets me share my personality and who I am and how I think and the things I've done in my life, like all of my past wisdom and experiences, lets me share it with everybody. And I love that. I also like art, like designing stickers. I like doing that too. I like making money. So if somebody buys my products, it makes me feel great. I'm like, oh, they like what I have. Like that's really, really cool and it makes me feel good. And most of my thing, like it's planning, because when you have your own business, you really do have to plan a lot. There's a lot of scheduling, it's content scheduling, and you have to know what you're doing ahead of time. So for me, those are some of the things that I really love. I also like gift giving, but mostly just at Christmas. I do like doing that for birthdays and stuff, but and I've been trying to budget. I also enjoy budgeting. That's another thing that I like to do. I did try budgeting for my mom, or trying to help her with the budget, and she didn't really stick through the plan, but I was very passionate about like showing her what she could do to like, expand her financial view, I guess, so to speak. So that was something I was passionate about, but I don't think I'd ever be like a financial coach. That would be in in a past life. I could see myself doing that. But that's it for today, guys. I have talked your ear off and I need to get a drink of water. So we've done a few pages here. Brainstorm the year ahead. So I hope you guys have less than me, because I don't know how I'm gonna like focus on all of this at once this year. And then these ones I feel like I didn't pay as much attention to, but I feel like I still had a lot to talk about when it came to these pages. So if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to talk about, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Ask me questions. I do like to answer. I know I've talked a lot about a lot of like issues that might get people going. I hope not. Like I don't want to cause any disruption or like I don't want to aggravate anybody, but these are like personal topics to me that I care passionately about. So again, this is personal, like yours will be personal to you. So when you do your goal setting or your goal planning, these are the things that should come up when you're talking about that. And that's why I love these power sheets so much, because they bring you out of your comfort zone. Like I said things to you guys that I would normally only say in my own head, or that would only be said in my journal or on here. Again, bringing you out of your comfort zone, making you rethink your values and what you want out of life, what's important to you. And it's important that we think about these things and that we talk about them. So, like I said, any questions, feel free to hit me up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Click that bell button, give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. Subscribe if you're new here. Subscribe if you like goal setting, because I love goal setting and we'll be doing a lot of it in the next upcoming weeks of December. So stick around and I will talk to you guys again next time. Bye, friends.